Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be reviewing Bombs Away by Harry Turtledove. But before I get started with the review, I hope if you enjoy this video, you hit that like button. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support. Harry Turtledove is one of my favorite authors of all time. Absolutely love him. He is a master of alternate history, which is one of my favorite genres for sure. I just always love his books so much. He does such an amazing job with characters and kind of exploring different aspects of history that I always find his stories so fascinating. And they're very much in the books that I read the quickest. They're very much page turners. His books are the ones, like when I get them, I mean, that's been like, oh, I'm going to set aside maybe 30, 40 minutes to read, and I need to do something, and then I look up like, oh, I've been reading for 2 or 3 hours. I just couldn't stop. His books are like that. And this new book that I read of his, which is, I should say it's new, it came out a few years ago, but the newest book of his that I read was very much in that same vein, that once I started reading it, bam, read it super quick. So the basic idea behind this book focuses on the Korean War. So if you're not familiar with alternate history, it basically takes a historical event and changes some aspect of it, and then you follow it through in the plot of the book. Or movie or TV show, whatever genre they're telling the story in. So in this case, in our real history during the Korean War, at a certain point, the commanding U.S. General Douglas MacArthur advised the U.S. President at the time, Harry Truman, that the U.S. should use nuclear weapons against China, who was supporting North Korea in the war, as a way to end the war. And in our history, in our reality, Harry Truman rejected that advice, said we're not going to use nuclear weapons in this war, and the war happened the way we know it. It basically the U.S. was able to kind of drive the North Koreans and Chinese out of South Korea, but they weren't able to completely defeat North Korea, so you ended up with the kind of stalemate and the existence now, a continued tension between North Korea and South Korea. But the Korean War was really one of the first hot moments of the Cold War, and one of the first cases in that 40-year part of our history where a nuclear war could have broke out. Well, this book, very quickly at the beginning of it, sets up the premise of what if when Douglas MacArthur had advised Truman to use nuclear weapons, Truman had agreed and used them. What would have happened next? And that's where the plot of this book gets started. I'm not spoiling anything. That's really the first 2 or 3 pages of the book. That change in history happens right there. And so basically the book follows the course of what happens after the U.S. uses nuclear weapons. How does the Soviet Union respond? How does the other allies on both sides respond? And what transforms our history to this alternate reality history. The thing I always enjoy so much about Turtledove is he takes these historical events and he looks at them from very different perspectives. A lot of times when you have authors that set a book in historical situations, maybe you're just hearing the story from one side of history or from certain individuals of history. Turtledove does an amazing job of looking at it from all angles. So you have American foot soldiers, you have Russian foot soldiers, you have civilians in the various countries involved, but you also get some, looking at from the leadership perspective. Harry Truman is a major character in this book. Throughout the book, you're getting how Truman is viewing the events as they transpire, but you're also getting the same viewpoints from like a random civilian in LA who delivers refrigerators, to a bomber pilot in South Korea, to a civilian in China, to a Hungarian soldier who's wondering how Hungary's alliance with the Soviet Union will impact him if he'll get involved in war, a peasant in Ukraine. You're getting all these various different viewpoints, and it makes it for such a fascinating story, because obviously every individual that's being focused on is viewing these events in a very different way, relating to their worldview and how it's impacting them. And you really become to care about these characters, because none of the characters, for the most part, are really presented as bad guys or evil guys. So you begin to sympathize with all of them, depending on which side they are. You're still kind of like finding ways like, oh, I hope this character makes it, and even though this character is on the opposite side and maybe shooting at the other character, I hope this character also makes it. Turtledove always does an amazing job of making you care about all these characters and kind of giving a very fascinating twist to history. So if you're into historical fiction or alternate history, I would definitely recommend Bombs Away by Harry Turtledove. This is the only book in the series I've read so far, so I can't really give a review on the series in general, but I will say after reading this first book, I definitely want to get the next book in the series. If you've never read alternate history, I would definitely recommend checking out a book by Harry Turtledove. He is very much the master of alternate history, and I think he's a great author to kind of get you into that genre. So he has several different series. Some are very short. He has some standalone books. He has some very long series, or like over 10 books. So maybe find one that sounds interesting to you and check it out. I've also done a video on this channel highlighting some of my favorite alternate history books of all time. I'll put a link somewhere up here towards the end of the video, linking to that video. So check that out if you're interested in learning more about alternate history. But like I said at the beginning of the video, if you like this video, I hope you'll hit that like button. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Happy reading, and I'll see you the next time.